Testing audio, test audio.
Well, you have part of the meeting to go through. So,
Before the prayer?
yes, ma'am. We have to finish this meeting. He's not bad. Let's go.
Oh, I thought he was sitting down.
This one sounds cool. It doesn't. I yell at you? Yeah. It was probably still out. It's off. No, it's still on.
Okay. Oh. The room's a lot more crowded than it was when we went upstairs. We are still in our 4:45 p.m. special town council meeting. We've been in executive session, so we've got to wrap up that meeting, adjourn that, and then convene the 6 o'clock, which is probably why a lot of y'all are here. So we have just reconvened from executive session. No votes were cast, no action was taken. Do we have some motions to result from the deliberations that we just concluded?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
On item A, I would like to move that we request staff to come up with a concept to determine the best plan forward on the Faison Road property based on discussions in executive session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Any on boards and commissions, do we have a motion for item C to serve on the Board of Zoning Appeals?
Yes, sir. It's my pleasure to make a motion to reappoint Aaron Butner and Elliot Barrow to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
Do we have a second? Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion for those two nominees to the Board of Zoning Appeals, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, consideration for applications to serve on the Planning Commission. Ms. Hyatt,
Yes, I'd like to move that we appoint Mike Tinky to serve on our planning commission.
Second.
we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Tinky is appointed. Motion carries. And item E, consideration of applications to serve on the Commercial Design Review Board.
That's me. I make a motion to reappoint Richard Perez to the Commercial Design Review Board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Mr. Perez is reappointed. So this moves us, that was item 4. This moves us to item 5, presentation of Public Services Department accreditation. Mr. Weiss.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In 2015, the Public Services Department was tasked to become accredited by the American Public Works Association, which is known as the APWA, as part of the town's strategic plan. This proved to be a very difficult task for us. It took us a long time as we tried to formalize our processes and professionalize our workforce and how we do things. In between daily operations, town special events, and hurricanes and such that we have to deal with down here and clean up the town, as well as 100% turnover in key leadership positions over the course of the time we were working on this. In November, we had our inspection visit, and we were graded on 20 chapter book with 246 topics, and we passed all of them, and we're actually recognized for 4 model practices out of the inspection. There are 196 entities now that are accredited countrywide, to include the town of Mount Pleasant, and we are one of 4 in South Carolina, which include 2 counties and 2 municipalities. So with that, I'd like to read the plaque that they sent us and then present it to the clerk as she can accept it for the council. Awarded in recognition of conformance and the recommended management practices established by the Accreditation Council of the American Public Works Association. By awarding accreditation, the association recognizes agencies for their leadership in the field of public works and their dedication and continuous improvement in search of excellence in government service to the public. So on behalf of the Public Services Department, I'd like to present this to Mayor, Council, Mr. Chapton, you as our committee chair, and thank you for all your support.
And thank you. Excellent. All right, this moves us to item number 6, which is recognition of Oceanside Girls Tennis Champions. Are they lined up and ready to go first? Here we go.
All right. Tonight, we want to recognize the Oceanside girls tennis team. They won the state championship this fall, defeating Bishop England. Sorry, Gary. 6-0 in Florence. This was a 3-peat state championship for these girls. Their overall record was 19-1, and they were Region 7 AA champions. The girls are coached by Coach Sean Harris and Coach Carlos Lozano, and led by senior captain Dylan Pizzutello. In addition to the team championship, we would like to recognize junior Kate Johnson, who also won the individual state championship for the Land Sharks. Congratulations on a great season and another state championship.
Yoo-hoo.
If I can get a photo of y'all, if you guys want to scoot back a little bit. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. And Next is recognition of the Oceanside football champions. David, how you doing, man? Thank you. Hopefully it'll solve it. Double up.
They all fit.
Yeah. Looks like nobody opted out and nobody hit the transfer portal. So,
Okay.
all right,
Oceanside
I think they're
football.
ready.
Yeah. All right. Oceanside football won the state championship this fall, defeating Gray Collegiate 35-28 at South Carolina State University. Their overall record was 12-2, and they were Region 7 AA champions. The Land Sharks defeated Lee Central, Woodland, Barnwell, and Hampton County on their road to the state championship game. Led by Coach Chad Wilkes, this is the first football state championship in Mount Pleasant since 1950.
All right.
And the first Charleston County since 1982. Congratulations to our state champions, the Oceanside Collegiate Academy football team.
All right.
Congratulations.
Question is, we have a wide angle.
Thank y'all so much. Thanks for coming.
Awesome.
Good to see y'all. Hey, Rhett.
Thank you for winning.
While they're leaving, that 73-year span between state championships. Last September, Dr. Charlie Darby was in these chambers and being recognized as a member of that team in 1950. And we all know that he just passed away last week. So that was maybe the last time he made a real public appearance was right here in recognition. And that trophy will be at Moultrie, right? It will be at Moultrie Middle.
It's already there in the trophy case. They're just doing a little more to make it look better.
Good.
And
That's fantastic.
Mr. Baroe is going to invite us when they finish it.
Sounds good. Next, we have recognition of our Special Olympic power lifters. Councilman Ritchie. All right.
So, not only do I have the privilege of recognizing your accomplishments, I've had the privilege for the past 6 years working with Coach Noah, coaching these athletes. We're missing Nick. Nick can't be here today. His mother's got some medical issues, and I'll talk about Nick here in a moment. They put in the hard work. We train them twice a week when they come in, and they do some seriously heavy lifting and training to get ready for the competitions. And this is year round. This isn't something that's just seasonal. So they have to train and prepare year round so they can compete. They compete here for our state games. We did for Jackson in May. But these athletes have had the opportunity not only to go to Florida to USA games and do very well. This is our second time going to the Southeastern since put on by the Georgia Special Olympics. I mean, more time they're going to invite us back to keep taking the medals. So during a couple weekends ago, we did go to Georgia to compete, and we had teams from South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and it was a lot of stiff competition. They are held to the same standards, the International Powerlifting Federation. So their standards are no different from the non-special Olympics athlete. They must adhere to every rule, to every command, and it has to be perfect. When you get what they call red lights, which means no lift. And these guys will tell you they don't ever want to get a red light. Katie, if I remember correctly, you swept the entire meet by not getting a single red light. You got all white lights 9 to 9, which is unheard of in powerlifting. So during this competition, I'll talk about Nick, who isn't here. Nick won 1 gold medal and 3 bronze, and he set a personal record with a deadlift of 300 pounds, and that's 300-pound deadlift he's pulling right there to set a personal record. So now we'll move on to Mark. Just so y'all know, Mark's a national champion from Florida, where he had swept all gold medals when he went to Florida. He had some stiff competition. I believe there's 7 or so actually competitors in his weight class. So not everybody medals either. They have to really fight and work hard for it. Mark did 1 gold and 2 bronze. You can see here a personal record of 260-pound deadlift. So we can hit that 300 pounds here. The little story about him, he was 9 pounds overweight. So 2 weeks out going into meet, I had to put him on a strict diet to make weight. He made weight.
Wow.
Kept his strength up, which is incredible. Now to my beast, Katie. Katie just was so confident, hard work, and she showed up. I think everybody in that room knew, okay, that's my competition right here. That's what I have to, my standard I have to beat. She took 4 gold medals, took 1 bronze, and that's her personal record, 226-pound deadlift, and she's a Georgia State champion in her weight class. So these guys work hard. Coach Nolan, thank you so much for the opportunity years ago when you had your gym for us to start this program, and then you continue to work with me. So, guys, great job.
Awesome.
Bring it in.
3, 2, 1, go! All right. Awesome. That is great. Thank you all very much. That concludes item number 8, recognition of Special Olympics power lifters. Item number 9 will be to adjourn, and then as soon as we sort of change, some people leaving, some people coming in just a few minutes, we will convene our 6 p.m. council meeting. So this special town council meeting is adjourned. Just a minute. Yeah, quick restroom break.
Come on, Garrett, don't race.
Hey. Staff ready? Everybody ready? Okay. Council, are y'all ready? Okay. Everybody's back? I keep thinking somebody's coming back. Let me call to order the February 13th Town Council meeting for the town of Mount Pleasant. We're going to correct the day of the week shortly. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Thank you for being here. Ms. Whitley, Councilmember Whitley is ill tonight, so she's not able to be here. I do want to mention before we get started, Chaplain Mullen will be doing our prayer. She'll come up. I will ask for a moment of silence for Dr. Darby, one of the most impactful citizens this town will ever have. I heard at his funeral yesterday that since he started the Children's Hospital, or was instrumental in starting it, that over 2.8 million children have been born in this state, and every one of them benefited from the research and all that, whether they were born here or not, that was done there. And that is the reach of an impactful life. So after we stand up, the moment of silence will end when Chaplain Mullen begins our prayer. And then Councilmember Rambo will lead us in the pledge, because I found out tonight he's never done it before. I apologize for that. That should have happened. So let's please stand for a moment of silence. Yeah.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for setting time aside from our busy schedules to gather this evening for this meeting. And as we have just taken a moment of silence for Dr. Darby, we ask that you put your healing hand upon the hearts of his family and his friends who are grieving his earthly loss. Give them peace and comfort, God, that only you can do. It was an honor and a blessing to know such a wonderful person. You gave us a gift of him for his leadership in our community, for for the care and compassion that he had for our children of our state. And we thank you for that. And Lord, we also thank you for this town council. We ask your blessings upon them and those that have gathered in this room tonight. We ask that you keep our eyes and our ears and our hearts open to hear you, Lord, as we continue to keep the town of Mount Pleasant safe and beautiful. It is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chaplain. Item 3 is approval of the agenda, and
Mayor, I
Mr.
have
Chapman has a motion.
Motion that we revise the agenda to show that tonight is Tuesday night, February 13th, 2024, and we're meeting at 6 p.m.
Okay, I believe we have to vote on the amendment first and then to approve the agenda as amended. Yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. This is on the amendment to make it read Tuesday rather than Wednesday. We are in discussion. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody want to oppose that? Okay, I didn't think so. The motion carries. So now I would look for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have agenda approved. Item 4 is going to be comments by one of our own, the chairman of Charleston County Council, Mr. Herb Sass. Herb, thank you for coming. Thank you and many of your council members for being at Moultrie Middle School last night to just put out the information about the proposed referendum. So thank y'all for the big showing in Mount Pleasant last night.
It was great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, everyone else. Really appreciate the opportunity. I live at 413 Hopcaw Drive, proudly. Been there for about 28 years. And in Mount Pleasant ever since graduating from the Citadel. Would like to give thanks for this opportunity to share some good news about roads, bike and pedestrian access, intersection improvements, resurfacing roads, green belts, conservation, and public transportation. We're putting together a list of projects all around the county for the proposed third transportation sales tax program. This half cent will not be an additional tax, but will replace the first half cent sales tax, which will have raised $1.3 billion over its about 23-year term. As promised, it will end, and it will end early because we raised the amount of money that we promised to end it at, $3 billion. The first half cent sales tax funded $75 million for the Arthur Avenel Bridge, $80 million for the Johnny Dodds Boulevard corridor improvements from the bridge to 526, and the Ben Sawyer pedestrian improvements from Mount Pleasant to Sullivan's Island, land on Rifle Range Road for a park, various intersection improvements, sidewalks, and resurfacing all around Mount Pleasant. The second half cent sales tax is funding the ongoing Highway 41 and 17 improvements, preservation of Boone Hall, and other various intersection and bike pedestrian improvements, including a sidewalk in Cooper Estates. In addition, county and town transportation staff identified much needed interim improvements for Highway 41 at Joe Rouse Road and Highway 17, which have just been funded and have just been awarded, which will make traffic flow better quickly on Highway 41. Town staff with the county has identified 5 projects in Mount Pleasant for consideration in third half cent sales tax. This includes Johnny Dodds corridor improvements with a flyover, Mount Pleasant Way bike pedestrian improvements, Long Point Road corridor improvements, Darrell Creek Trail realignment, and Chuck Dolly Coleman Boulevard Ben Sawyer intersection improvements. We are studying which projects are most needed in all areas of the county, including Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, North Charleston, James Island, Johns Island, and Charleston, including the extension of the Mark Clark Expressway. We've included over $400 million for greenbelts and conservation in this sales tax. That is twice as much as the first two sales tax programs combined. This is a real opportunity to preserve more open space from future development, especially if conservation easements are utilized. They make our bang go a lot further. We get a lot more land to be preserved. Like the first two sales tax programs, we also have components for public transportation, including the bus rapid transit. Two other important items. A year or so ago, there was talk of the SCDMV moving to Clements Ferry Road. The county and SCDMV are working together to get approvals for a permanent DMV office to be constructed at our service center on the corner of the Isle of Palms connector. Planning and approvals are ongoing to complete a ground lease to SCDMV, and they will build their own building. This is a win-win. I don't think any of us wanted to have to go to Clements Ferry Road. Last but not least, the new asphalt sidewalks on Mathis Ferry Road have been well received with lots of people using this much improved walkway. Thanks, it looks much safer and easier to use. I want to thank y'all. Y'all do a great job. I have to go to my own council meeting right now, so I'm going to leave, but it's been fun joining y'all for this meeting, and I'll be back. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Chairman.
Thank you. Item 5 on our agenda is public hearings, awards, and presentations. I believe first we have a longevity award.
Mayor Haney and members of council, it is my pleasure to recognize Kevin Nesbitt for 25 years of service with the town of Mount Pleasant. Kevin started his career at the town as a laborer in our Facilities and Grounds division and held that position for 6 years. He was then promoted to Labor 1 in the same division and held that position for 3 years. In July of 2008, he was promoted to crew leader and took on the additional task as the duty man. This role includes, but is not limited to, responding to emergency service calls to the town of Mount Pleasant in the middle of the night or over the weekends. In 2016, the Facilities and Grounds division was separated into 2 separate divisions, and Kevin took on the role of park maintenance supervisor in the Grounds division, a position which he still holds today. He has been integral to the operations of the Park West Recreation Complex and the Shem Creek Park. Kevin's high standards and work ethic are reflected in the accomplishments and consistent outstanding service of the entire Grounds division. There probably isn't a major event that has taken place within the town over the last 25 years that he hasn't supported. His efforts have impacted thousands of residents. The Grounds division is the lead for the Public Services Department to support all town special events, and Kevin's been a big part of that. That includes Christmas parades, Christmas markets, movies in the parks, Blessing of the Fleet, Children's Day, Farmers Market, half marathons, Cooper River Bridge Run, as well as he's participated in all the hurricane storm responses that we've had over the years. Even though Mount Pleasant has seen tremendous growth during his time here, Kevin has always displayed excellence and a high standard of service, and he continues to take on each new challenge with professionalism and a positive attitude. He sets an example for our department, and we are grateful for his service. I'd also like to thank Kevin's family for all their support they have given him over the years. He couldn't have done this without you. And make sure he knows that. Kevin, it's been an honor working with you. Thanks for everything you've done and will continue to do for the town. Congratulations on 25 years of service.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. On behalf of everybody on council, I want to thank you for 25 years. We like to attract and keep good people at the town, and I think you're a prime example of that. This moves us to item 6, approval of the minutes from January 10th, special and regular town council meetings, and the December 2023 financial statement.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman, for both meetings as well as the financial statement.
All right, we have a motion to
Second.
approve and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Minutes are approved. Item 7 is public comment. If you're here to make a public comment, please come forward when your name is called. Name, address, in 2 minutes, please. Mr. Demore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First speaker, Carl Middlestadt.
Did I say 2? It's 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Thank you. My name is Carl Middlestadt. I live at 2759 Gaston Gate in Brickyard. My wife Nancy and I have lived in Mount Pleasant for 41 years. I'm here today to request that Town Council and staff cancel the proposed Brickyard Parkway sidewalk project. There's already an HOA maintained sidewalk to the front of the amenity center, which leaves a short walk across the driveway and level grass to Highway 17. Why does the town insist on spending another $130,000 on something we already have? The sidewalk will not increase walk score for any resident in Brickyard, yet walk score is given as a reason for the town by the town. It's irresponsible to encourage elementary and middle school children to cross 8 busy lanes of Highway 17 during rush hour periods. Yet this is one of the town's main reasons for why they want to install the sidewalk. Shame on you. We already have too many names on the Children's Memorial. The town process for pedestrian and bicycle accommodations program on the website indicates that public involvement will happen prior to final design. This did not occur. In addition, assurances of resident input in writing by both James Anton and Brad Morrison in December were not honored. Mayor and Mr. DeMiro, this is simply not how the town should treat residents. I'm also here today speaking on behalf of 272 Brickyard residents that have signed this petition in opposition to the sidewalk installation. We're not finished collecting signatures and have not yet gone door to door. These signatures were collected in 3 two-hour sessions in the community. I'll point out that these signatures are more than the 245 comments from the survey that the town received with 7 public input meetings that was used to prioritize town future. An overwhelming majority of Brickyard residents oppose this sidewalk. Please do the right thing and stop this unwanted project. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mike Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Haney and esteemed town council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Michael Hughes. I live at 1045 Wharf Indigo Place. It's a small privately owned road with 17 homes on it. It's located in the Creekside neighborhood. Y'all probably have the packet the clerk gave you. Great. I'm joined today by 16 other homeowners on Wharf Indigo, as well as residents from the surrounding neighborhoods, to ask the town to take over our private road and to make it a public road. We're making this request as we have found ourselves at a crossroads, and we believe the town's intervention can provide resolution, ensuring neighborhood interconnectivity continues. The reason for this request is tied to the liability associated with the traffic on our private road from non-homeowners. Wharf Indigo currently serves as a vital cut-through connecting multiple neighborhoods, including Creekside, East Cooper Estates, The Groves, Bay Tree, and Pine Hollow. The traffic includes walkers, bikers, golf carts, creating a steady stream that has become a popular and convenient route for residents going to and from the Creekside Pool and Tennis Club, access to Shem Creek, and also children biking to and from Mount Moultrie Middle School. The popularity of the route is primarily tied to allowing shorter travel distances as well as minimizing traffic on frontage roads by keeping more traffic within the neighborhoods. A year ago in March, we documented the traffic using a motion-sensor camera over a 2-day period that was overcast or raining. A significant volume of activity, approximately 150 people, were documented crossing. As noted, these occurrences happened over a time of poor weather and traffic increases exponentially during peak weather occurrences and over the summer when Creekside's pool and tennis center is being fully utilized. 60% of the members at that club come from East Cooper Estates and the Groves, so they use that cut through regularly. What makes our situation distinct is the presence of an easement and a bridge rated for light vehicles owned by the town that connects our private road to the public road system. The light vehicle rated bridge was installed by the town in approximately 2012 and quickly became a popular conduit for travel between the neighborhoods as it allowed residents to avoid frontage roads and reduce transit times for neighborhood residents. I'm going to turn it over to Steve.
Sorry, we're trying to plan our 2:30, and so I'm the next speaker on the list. I don't know if I need to wait for permission. So thank you. So my name's George Green. I live at 1039 Wharf Indigo. And as residents of Wharf Indigo, we are in favor of the increased connectivity that is happening as a result of the bridge, but the potential liability associated with non-residents utilizing our private road is forcing Wharf Indigo residents to consider shutting off public access by installing key fob activated gates that would only be able to be used by Wharf Indigo residents and their guests. I want to reiterate that we do not want to do this, but we're also left with limited options. And the only viable path forward for keeping this neighborhood interconnectivity would be for the town to take over the road and make it a public road. We're willing to donate the road to the town as is, and are willing to work with the town by any means necessary to make this happen and increase the interconnectivity between Creekside, Cooper Estates, the Groves, and the other surrounding neighborhoods. I formally request you to take this to the Transportation Committee for further action. Thank you for your time and service to our town. We're now going to have some visuals that show the location and the issue that we are referencing. If you'll flip to the second page in the packet that you were given, you should be looking at a slide that has the number 1 in the bottom right-hand corner. So this is a screenshot from Charleston County's GIS mapping system that has the neighborhoods in closest proximity to the cut-through overlaid on the map. Creekside is on the right, Cooper Estates is on the bottom middle, and the Groves is on the left. The two public roads that are connected by our private road and the cut-through are Dragoon on the right and Pauley Road on the left. And our private road, Wharf Indigo, is in the middle. It's approximately 800 feet long. The cut-through, that is the public easement owned by the town of Mount Pleasant, is what connects Pauley Road to Wharf Indigo. We're going to move to the next speaker.
Thank you. My name is Steve Kendrick. I live at 1052 Wharf Indigo Place. Please flip to that next page, which is slide number 2 in the bottom right corner. This is an aerial view of the cut-through, again, with Pauley Road on the right, and which is in Cooper Estates, and Wharf Indigo on the left. The easement owned by the town is in the middle, and part of the easement includes a light vehicle rated bridge that was installed by the town over 10 years ago. If you flip one more page to slide number 3, this is an actual example that we did of a Cooper Estates resident that is a member of the Creekside Tennis Club. On the left side, you'll see that using the cut-through results in a distance of just over 1 mile, and they never leave either neighborhood because of the cut-through. On the right side of the slide, you can see that without the cut-through, the distance traveled will be nearly double, and approximately 3/4 of a mile will be added distance on Johnny Dodd's frontage road. Flip to the next page, to slide 4. This just gives an illustration of the different types of traffic we see on a daily basis. This was taken back in March. Obviously, we've got bike traffic, exercisers, people walking their pets, and quite a bit of golf cart traffic. It's a popular route that provides significant interconnectivity, and these 4 examples are only a few. If you flip one more page, slide 5. Final slide has what's number 5 at the bottom. The 4 examples on the previous slide were part of over 150 documented instances of traffic that took place in just 2 days in March on that cut-through. This visual is showing the thumbnails of some of those uses to put in perspective how much traffic this cut-through actually sees. Again, please bear in mind that documentation of this traffic was done over just 2 days in March. That is marginal weather, and the traffic increases exponentially in the summer during peak utilization of the Creekside Pool and Tennis Center. In closing, we'd like to reiterate our formal request to take our concern to the Transportation Committee for further action and to accept our road into the town as is. It is our hope that we can leave the connectivity open to both neighborhoods. The interconnectivity is a very important issue for people in the surrounding neighborhoods. There are a number of people here tonight in support. If we could just ask you to stand. Thank you for your time,
Thank you.
service, and assistance with this matter.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
George Sablanca.
And just to note, that is not an agenda item on the agenda tonight, in case anybody's wondering. Hello.
How you doing? George Sablanca, 1411 Madison Court in Brickyard Plantation. I'll probably keep it short. It's in follow-up to Carl Middlestad's presentation. I signed the petition. I'm in support of that. Surprisingly, the town of Mount Pleasant attended or presented had a forum in our neighborhood relative to this presentation. There's 950 feet of concrete put in Brickyard Plantation along our parkway. And during that presentation, as questions were raised and pressed to the three representatives of the town of Mount Pleasant, we were advised at that meeting that the meeting was only there to answer questions relative to 950 feet of concrete, that you guys already made a decision and it was a done deal. We had no input into it whatsoever, you know? And so I'm a resident since 1995 here. The people presenting made comments relative to the vision of Mount Pleasant. If you're going to invade a community within the town of Mount Pleasant, it would be god-awful interesting to get representation from within that community within Mount Pleasant to access the amenities that they have. And so we have the developer of our community built a little trail throughout our community. To think that 950 feet of sidewalk within our community is going to help us, you know, and the presenters referenced, well, they saw two boys on a bicycle somewhere near the reference 950 feet. They could have been saved from a car accident, you know. It's kind of insane. It's an absurd comment. But, you know, probably 90% of our community is sidewalk free in Brickyard Plantation. 950 feet to give us access to 17, we don't want it, you know. You guys presented data that you gave us that's a walkability study that's terrible. It was from data from 2000 to 2008, 2009, from cities such as Washington, D.C., Chicago, Dallas, Las Vegas, Sacramento, San Francisco. I don't want to be in one of those cities. I moved out of Chicago to come here. I don't want that urban environment anymore. So I want to be back into Mount Pleasant. The data they had, like Carl mentioned, I reference is that use the money. I asked the presenters if they had data on all the accidents, because they inferred at the beginning of their presentation that there was all these motor vehicle, bicycle, and pedestrian accidents in the town of Mount Pleasant that could be avoided, you know. And I said, you have data analytics. Why don't you mine that data and use the money for the 950 feet and put it somewhere where you're going to minimize that? I'm sure in that data bank that Mount Brickyard Plantation's 950 feet is at the very bottom of that study.
Sir.
So, you know, pardon me?
I'm sorry, sir. Just please.
I'm done. I'm done. The only other thing I got to say is that in 1995, I was recruited down here by MUSC. I worked with Charlie Darby. He was a man's man. We were on a lot of executive committees together, and I had the luxury and the fortune to work with him too.
Great.
Thank you.
Gary Ponder.
Good evening. My name is Gary Ponder. I currently live at 118 Indigo Marsh Circle. Thank you, Mayor Haney. Thank you, Council, for allowing me a few minutes to speak to you this evening. I'm here as an applicant for item A2 under the planning section of the agenda. My request is for a rezoning from R2 to R3 for 740 Atlantic Street or family homes since the early 1960s. R3 zoning will match the surrounding properties and was recommended for approval from the Planning Committee and Planning Commission. There are 2 lots to the right zoned R3, and there are 3 lots to the left, 2 of which are zoned R3, and 1 was subdivided prior to the zoning code, but also meets the R3 zoning requirements. In addition, what makes these lots unique and special, and why the comprehensive plan recommends this for zoning R3, is due to the dual street frontage and lot depth from Atlantic Street to Hill Street. During the committee meeting, 2 concerns were raised: drainage and trees. Both will be addressed during the single-family residential development process as directed by the town's engineering staff and the building staff. Thank you again for your consideration for approval for the recommendation from the Planning Committee and Planning Commission, and shown by staff will be consistent with the comp plan and current R3 zoning pattern and the adjoining properties. Thank you very much. God bless.
That's all I have signed up, sir.
Is there anyone who did not have the opportunity to sign up who would like to speak? If there are none, we will close public comment. Section 8 on the agenda is consent agenda items. Do we have a motion for items A, B, and C on the consent agenda, please?
Move for approval.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Final reading of consent agenda items A, B, and C.
This moves us to section 9, planning new business. Mrs. Reed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sorry, we're not being rude. We're just being efficient.
That's okay.
Okay, item A1, we have a motion to approve. We have a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First reading ordinance number 24005.
I went too far.
Moves us to item number A2.
Okay. This is a request to rezone from R2 to R3. It's a 0.3 acre lot located here. This is a future land use map. This area is a little bit unique. As you can see, this darker color is actually designated for R3 in the comprehensive plan because of Hill Street and Atlantic Street. All of the surrounding area is to maintain that R2 zoning or R1, and it is recommended on the comp plan. Here you can see the current zoning. So the darker shade of brown is all R3. Those have all been subdivided. The lot here that's still R2 was actually subdivided prior to the adoption of our zoning code in 1979, so it didn't have to meet the development standards. So what's proposed tonight is to rezone the property that's highlighted from R2 to R3 so that it can be subdivided in half like the rest of the lots and have that dual frontage on Hill Street and Atlantic Street. This is just a development patterns over the years of how that's evolved. So you can see that that area on the comp plan is a little bit unique, and it's also only recommended for these lots here. So I know there may be some concern as we go on down this way, but these lots that do not front on Hill Street are not recommended for the R3 zoning. So that does make the 11 lots a little bit unique. So that's the request before you. I'm happy to answer any questions. And the Planning Commission recommended approval unanimously, and the Planning Committee recommended approval, I think 3-1.
Okay. I'll be
Move to
looking for a
approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
Is there a second? All right. We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of the motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carries 7-1.
First reading ordinance number 24006.
This moves us to item 3.
So this last request before you, it was recommended denial by both the Planning Commission and the committee. It's actually a property zoned AB here on the corner of Erdman and
Move to deny.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to deny and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to deny, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have one no, so the motion carries 7-1. All right, thank you, Ms. Reed. There are no old planning business items. Section 10 is committee action items. There are no committee action items. Yep, there's a numerical issue, at least on mine. This would be, and then this would, we would be 11 would be council new business. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on new business item 1.
I just want to check with the parliamentarian. Should we have
Yes.
amended that or?
No, sir. It's
Okay,
not
we're
necessary.
okay.
We're under council business, A, new business, item 1.
Okay.
Move
Yes.
to approve.
Okay. We have a motion to
Second.
approve and a second. Briefly, this is a $14 million waterworks and sewer system revenue parity bond. It's for Mount Pleasant Waterworks, but we have to approve it. The general manager is here and the bond attorney is here. Should there be any questions while we're in discussion? Are there any questions of them on the purpose or technicalities of this? Okay. All in
I
fa-
just wanted to point out that the original estimate was 14 million, but actually the loan amount will be 10.2.
Got it. Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
First reading ordinance number 24008.
Item number 2 is first reading to amend standing committees of the Mount Pleasant Code of Ordinances. This came out of the retreat.
It did, yes, sir, and good evening, Mayor and Council. This is to amend 30.65, which is standing committees. You'll see the underlined portion, and it relates to the selection of those committees. The underlying provision would be added to this section. Council members may provide individual qualifications to indicate committee preferences. And the second part is within 10 days after each municipal election or in the event of a vacancy, the mayor shall make a good faith effort to meet and consult with each member of council related to those qualifications. That is a proposed change. This is first reading, so amendments are not appropriate at this time. And those would be made at second reading should this be approved for that purpose.
All right.
To approve.
Motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First reading ordinance number 24009.
Item 3, first reading ordinance to provide for a moratorium on certain multifamily structures.
approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. This came out of, well, we instructed council to do it. That was not first reading. This is first reading. If there are any amendments or anything, those would be appropriate at second reading.
Yes, sir.
All right, any discussion?
Yes, I do want to state that I will be voting yes on this tonight, but I hope that we can amend it during our next meeting, similar to what we attempted to do during the retreat. I think that there are some questions about whether this would stand up in court, and I think those could be addressed by an amendment to make it so it's not another 2-year renewal of the program.
Okay, and that would be at next month's regular council meeting. All right, all in favor of the motion to approve, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First reading ordinance number 24010.
All right, turning the page, adoption of a resolution authorizing the adoption of the Mount Pleasant Hazard Mitigation Plan. We took this up in the Flood Resilience Committee. And so Ms. Whitehead is here. Should we have any questions about this?
I'll move for approval, Mr.
We have a
Chairman.
motion.
Second.
And a second. Do you just want to give us a brief overview real quickly as part of discussion?
Yes, sir. I just want to go ahead and say thank you, Mayor and council members, and good evening. So I just want to let you know that this is the last portion of the adoption process for the hazard mitigation plan. Just a brief synopsis real quick. It went through the South Carolina SEMD as well as FEMA with over 500 pages. There is no revisions asked to be needed for this plan. This plan has also been asked for certain sections for different other entities and other municipalities to possibly use that as an example. So With that being said, the importance of having a hazard mitigation is also going to help us with grant funding, knowing hazards for disaster-prone areas, as well as helping our citizens. By having the hazard mitigation plan, we will look through this every 5 years to revise it as needed. If there's also a major event, that will be looked at by myself, the emergency management resilience officer, as well as the hazard mitigation planning team to see if we need to revise this as well. And the hazard mitigation plan will stand as the town of Mount Pleasant's hazard mitigation plan specifically, as well as an addendum to the Charleston County hazard mitigation plan.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve this resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 24021.
Items 5, 6, and no,
5 and 6.
yeah, 5 and 6.
So I'll make a motion to approve items 5 and 6.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. These are mutual aid and task force agreements involving our police department and some law enforcement activities. All right, we have a motion to approve 5 and 6 and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Resolutions 24022 and 24023.
Item 7 is a resolution to enter into a memorandum of agreement between the town and Wake Up Carolina. This is our opioid settlement.
I'd like to make that motion to approve.
Second.
And we have a motion, we have a second. Is this different or subsequent to what we had already done at some point?
Yes, sir, it is. And just to note that when we use these funds, when the town use these funds, they are subject to the state rules and guidelines related to those expenditures. And this resolution is written in accordance with those. So if, I'm not saying this is true, but if it were to be that those rules were to change or there was some question as to what we could spend those funds on, it would defer back to what the state would allow us to do.
Okay.
But this is squarely within those rules. It's what our police department has deemed most appropriate for use of these funds. Chief Arnold would be much better to explain the precise purpose, but legal has determined it sits squarely within what we are permitted to do.
Got it. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I just wanted to bring up one thing that a citizen approached me about. Would be the possibility of the town and Wake Up Carolina working with our Harbor Entrepreneur Center on an app or website to help provide information to the public about fentanyl, what to do in the event of an overdose, where to find Narcan, and that sort of thing. So I would hope that our town could maybe pursue that line of conversation with Wake Up Carolina and the Harbor Entrepreneurship Center to see if there's a synergy there that we could take advantage of.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 24024.
Item 8 is approval of blessing of the fleet beneficiaries. Yes, sir. Mr. Gerget.
Good evening. Each year, town staff review applications and offer recommendation for council approval of nonprofits whose volunteers help set up and run the festival on the event day for receiving the net proceeds that are primarily generated through merchandise sales. This year, staff would like to recommend the following beneficiaries for the 37th annual Blessing of the Fleet Seafood Festival, which, by the way, I'm putting in a plug, is on April 28th. If you haven't had a chance to put that on your calendar, please do so. First is Carolina Children's Charity. Carolina Children's Charity was founded to assist Low Country children with diagnosed birth defects and or childhood diseases. Its mission is to ensure that special needs children in our community have access to items and services that are deemed medically beneficial or medically necessary by one of their medical doctors. The other proposed beneficiary is the Magwood Shrimpers Memorial. Since the untimely passing of local icon Captain Wayne Magwood in 2020, the town has been working with the Magwood family to commission a life-size bronze statue of Captain Magwood as a Shrimpers Memorial, which will be dedicated to preserving and honoring the rich maritime heritage of the shrimpers and fishermen in Mount Pleasant.
Great. All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
All right. We have a motion to approve and a second. Great choices. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve those beneficiaries, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We look forward to that. Put the date on your calendar. This brings us to item B, old business. There are no council old business items. Item 11 is to adjourn. If there's nothing else to come before this body, we stand adjourned.
Yeah. Gotta do that before June, right?